Hi guys, I think we're all registering and jumping on. Hopefully you were able to see that video about what is PR. Emma, if you could maybe come on screen and off mute as our expert speaker. Hi Emma.
Hi everyone. Hello.
And Yasek, maybe or Bulelani, would you mind uploading and just sharing the first slide just in preparation? Awesome. So guys, hello to everyone and thank you for joining us today. My name is Adam Hunter and I'm the Meeting Code Communications lead, and welcome to today's Fun Communications workshop. Today's special seminar is especially developed for you with top tips, guidelines, and best practice on how to market and promote your awesome digital events across various channels and communications platforms. So I'm speaking to you from sunny South Africa, but today it's not so sunny, it's freezing cold, hence I'm wearing a double thick polar neck. But what's cool is that we've got participants from all over the globe. So we really appreciate you taking the time to be here today. And here's a big kudos to you guys. So before we kick off, let's meet the team.
Cool. Hi, everybody. I'm Emma. I work at Meet and Code's PR agency, Hook, Line and Sinker. Also from chilly South Africa today. I think we've stolen some European weather, but it's nice to meet you all.
Okay, guys, and I'm Jacek, and I work as a communications/social media specialist for Meet and Code in TechSoup Europe. And one of my duties is just to use the full potential of social media to build brand awareness and let people find out about the project. And today, later on, I'll focus on how to help yourself in the social media world.
Thanks, Yasek. So guys, just for fun, I mean, what would a workshop or an online seminar be like without a Zoom poll? So we would like to pose a question to our audience. And the question is as follows: do you publicize, market, or promote your workshops? So we're going to pop up a poll. Let's engage. Let's see where we're at. Let's see if we're dealing with some super experts. Let's see the level. Are you guys publicizing? Are you promoting? Are you marketing across any platform, across any channel? We just want to find out the level of expertise, how we can support you, and how we can work together to really amplify and share the Meet and Code message. I think we're going to give about 30 seconds.
See, we've got eight answers already.
And the question is, do you publicize, market, or promote your workshops? Sorry, just had to repeat it. Looks like we've got some gurus coming in there.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Awesome. Okay, so I think we'll pull that from now. That's 90% that voted. And we are dealing with people that do work in terms of promoting their events. So today we'll be supporting you. We'll be giving you templates and we'll showcase and we'll lead and guide you in the best practice and top tips on how to market and communicate. It's what's great is that we've got the confidence. You guys are already doing it, and hopefully we can support and help you further with that. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to our PR guru, Emma, and she's going to take you through the media relations side of things. Emma, over to you.
Thank you so much, Adam. Just want to close, there we go, close that poll that was on my screen. So I'm going to take you through publicizing your event through media relations. But before I get into media relations, I just want to go through the difference of PR and marketing. So next slide, please. Are we having a technical issue?
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll just continue while we get there. So basically, the difference between PR and marketing is that PR, we're getting third-party endorsement through editorial content, whereas marketing is more of your branded content. So if we're looking at engaging with journalists, and we send them a press release or we do an interview with them, they'll post that interview as an article, which people are much more likely to read. And the same as if you do a radio interview or a TV interview, people are much more likely to listen to that than listen to an advert. I think, you know, these days we have so much information coming at us that people sometimes zone out when they see branded content. So this is a really great way to spread awareness and to really grab your target audience's attention. So the best way to do this is through media relations, and you can send a media release to your media. You can pitch interview opportunities, and you can also invite them to your event to cover it and do interviews there as well. So if they come to your event, they might draft a story about it, which is really great because it shows the success and what you're doing. So as you can see, there's quite a few advantages of media relations, which is to drive awareness for your business, your organization, what you're doing in your community, and your aspirations. To drive traffic to your website. So if you send out a press release and you include your website link and your social media link in the press release, media will often post this if they're publishing the story online. So this is a really great way to drive more traffic to your site. It will position you and your business as a key player in the technology space. And it will show that you and your organization are dedicated to fostering youth and digital skills in Europe. Thank you. Next slide. So when it comes to the media that you should target, you can see that the landscape is constantly evolving. And with this in mind, it's important to target media across the board to make sure that you're reaching a wide target audience. So in 2021, Europeans were watching TV on a TV set on a daily basis. It was 78% of people. 75% use the internet on a daily basis, 52% use social media, 46% listen to the radio, 25% read the written press, and 16% watch TV on the internet. So you can see across the board, there's still quite a wide spread of media consumption. So it's great if you target print, online, and broadcast. Okay, cool. So to help you out, we put together a few steps and tips for media relations. The first thing to do is to research the local media that you want to target. So if you're talking about technology, digital skills, events, it's great to target media that talk to that specifically. So research your media list and put together a list of local journalists, presenters, and producers. And then from this list, you can decide who you want to invite to your event. So then what's best to do is to put together a media invite, which you can email to them, set an RSVP date so that you know when you can start following up with them and they know when to get back to you. And it's best to do this about a week before so that you've got a bit of leeway to chat to them, see if you want to invite some more media. And the best way to follow up with them is to do it via the phone. I think, you know, media's inboxes get really full. So sometimes they miss emails. So it's best to just pick up the phone and give them a call.
Absolutely, Emma. I just want to jump in there. Like, media are inundated with emails. There's thousands of emails. So the best way to get hold of them is to pick up that phone and give them a call. Sorry, I'm 100%. Just going to jump in there and help. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good point. And I think people don't always, you know, like to pick up the phone in this day and age, but it's super important when it comes to media relations. And then at the event, you can engage with the media and conduct media interviews with them. And beforehand, it might be good to chat to the ones that are attending, see if they want to do an interview, who they want to talk to, what topics they want to cover, just so you can prepare a bit beforehand. And then following the event, you can draft a media release highlighting the success of your event, which you can send to your wide media list. And with this, you can also pitch interviews from there as well. So to help you out, we've put together these top tips and a media release template where you can plug in all your personalized event information. And following your event, you can send this out. And you can find this on the Meet and Code website. Cool. And then to assist you with your media interviews, we've put together some tips. These can sometimes be a bit daunting, but you don't need to be scared at all. Just see it as a conversation. And so the best place to start is to research the journalist or the presenter and publication that you'll be talking to, just to see the kind of topics they cover, how they talk. You can get a feel for them and just prepare. Have a clear plan and define your key messages. This will help you make sure that you get the message across that you want to say. then it's important to tell your story. Telling your story makes you really relatable. It keeps the journalist engaged, it keeps their audience engaged. So you could tell a story about someone that attended your event that's now developed an amazing app or program. You could tell your own story and how you got into your NPO and what you're doing and the difference you're making in your community. But it's also important to include facts and stats. This media loves stats, and it's just a great way to kind of build your argument for what you're saying. So, for example, the European Commission recently said that 4 out of 10 Europeans lack digital skills. So this, you can see, is a great foundation for you to build your argument for how you are making a difference and the importance of what you're doing is. And then be conversational, respectful, relaxed, and be yourself. Be prepared for any difficult questions. Media will research you. So if there is anything that might come up, just be prepared to answer that. If there is anything you can't answer, just never say no comment. Rather let them know that you will find out the answer, speak to the right person, and come back to them. Steer clear of any company acronyms or jargon. We want to make the interview or the coverage as accessible to the target audience and the journalist. So it's best to just keep things as simple as possible. Like, think you're just explaining something to someone who has no idea what you're talking about, but obviously don't be condescending, just keep it clear and simple. It's best not to ask the journalist if you can approve the story beforehand. Because PR is earned media and we're not paying for it, they don't generally like to send it for approval. That happens more if you're doing marketing or advertising. But what you can do is offer to fact check for them or answer any questions that they might have. And if you're doing an interview that's recorded or on the radio, remember to always smile. It completely changes the tone of voice, it changes your face, it just makes you more approachable. And if you are going to be on TV, don't wear bright patterns or anything crazy. Just keep it like a simple color. Can be a bright color, but keep it simple again. And one thing I think we all do, if you're in the newsroom before COVID, or even now, like sitting on our chairs in the Zoom meeting, is just to remember not to swing on your chair, because I think we all want to do it, but it's a bit distracting. But yeah, I hope that was helpful, and you'll be able to find all this information on the Meet and Code website. And I'm going to hand over to Adam, who's going to take you through Communications 101.
I'm laughing and I'm smiling. Thanks, Emma, because I was also swinging on my chair without realizing that. So thank you, Emma.
It's really fun, but yeah.
So before I begin, I just want to put out there and highlight how much we all love a good story. I mean, who doesn't love a good story? And I think in today's digital social media age, we are all storytellers. So hopefully we can rely on you to help us tell the wonderful story of Meet and Code. So before I begin, I just want to put out there also a fun stat and fact, because what would that be during today's seminar without any fun facts and stats? Mine is about media and marketing, and it's about 2 seconds. So can anyone guess or wonder what 2 seconds I'm referring to when it comes to media and marketing? Well, research conducted by Facebook has revealed that our attention span for people scrolling through content on a mobile device is less than 2 seconds. So why am I telling you this? I'm saying this because the pressure really is on for us communications and marketing professionals, because we've got 2 seconds to capture our audience attention, to tell great stories, content, and get out there the wonderful visuals of the Meet and Code program. So the pressure really is on. And so now, talking about stats and facts, I'd just like to take you on to my next slide. So there's a few stats and facts here, but I'm just going to put them out. Did you guys know that over 4 million blogs are published every day? That's every day. So again, the pressure's on to captivate, to engage, to really get the attention of our audience that we're speaking to and to resonate with them. Apparently 45% of journalists out there believe that the way we talk to, or companies talk to or share information, is outdated. And they say that the biggest problem is the lack of personalization. So just like Emma was saying earlier, know who you're speaking to in the media, know what they're writing. And an example of this is you could be saying, well, I'm not a media professional. How can I do that? Well, we all read the papers. We all get community papers, regional papers, news websites, blogs. Find out who the author is, who's the journalist. Make sure you're not sending a digital code youth story to a sports editor. Make sure it's the right section and that you're getting hold of the right person with a story that works for them. And I think that's the type of personalization that we're looking for here with the media. My next point is that marketers who send about 4 to 7 emails, they get a reply rate that jumps from 4% all the way up to 27%. So what I'm trying to illustrate here is that the more you send consistent communications, the better the engagement rate. So I'm not saying spam everyone, but as we can see on social media, the more we put our content, the more engagement, the more likes, the more conversation that starts to flow, and the better results. Content costs 62% less than traditional marketing and generates about 3 times as many leads, which is interesting to know. And just for fun, I put the stat in there, 74% of people suffer from glossophobia. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering, what is glossophobia? Glossophobia, apparently, is the fear of public speaking. So for today's session, I really wanted to include that because it's such a key element that we should include to really help us amplify, get our message, do a call to action, and engage with our audiences. And it is something that we really need to overcome and try and use public speaking as a great way for communications. And then last but not least, 60% of marketers reuse content 2 to 5 times. And I'm saying that because us clever communications professionals today, there's so much content, we need to work smart and not hard. And by doing that, we can repurpose all our content and reuse it and reshare it again and again and again. And that's about working smart. And that brings me on to my next slide, which is all about PESO. No, not pesto. Although if you want to think of PESO, you can think of pesto. That's how I remember it. But the next slide will illustrate the graph that I'm talking about, and that's PESO. So PESO stands for paid, earned, shared, and owned. So when you're thinking about your communications, generally communications professionals like to slot it into the 4 categories. Are we going to be paying for this? Is it going to be on our owned channels? Is it going to be shared on social media? Or are we going to earn this through public relations? And now there's quite a few categories on the next slide that I'm going to take you through. So please don't feel too inundated. But as you can see, this is where the fun and the creativity really kicks in for communications, because we've got so many channels and platforms to choose from when we market and communicate our brand, like Meet and Code and the various events that we do. So I'm just going to touch on it, and I'll start with a really basic, easy one called paid. As you know, obviously that's all the paid things that we do across our media. So it could be sponsored posts, and a cool way of doing a sponsored post would be obviously for your priority social media posts. That could be a call to action or a registration for your event. It could also be an advertorial. So it looks like a story and you place it into a media, into a magazine or online. And through online, then you can do click-throughs to your website. So it's just got that extra element of engagement and click-throughs via the paid channel. My favorite is the owned media. And when we look at owned, I might be a bit OCD, I might be a bit of a control freak, but it's about owning the channel. So that's where we can really choose fun elements like a podcast, or we can do a research white paper. We can do webinars, kind of like what we're doing today, although today is more of a workshop. We can also do emailers, etc. We can do Q&As and interviews. We can do a website blog. Various channels for the owned there, and that's one of my favorites. Then of course we hop on to shared, which Yasek will take us through later across the various channels for social media and sharing. And then earned, which is what Emma was talking about earlier. So that's all about publicity. It's about earning the content, influencers, bloggers, interviews, stories in the media. And hopefully this gives you a variety of different platforms to choose from. And this is what we use when we try and create an integrated communications program. Cool. So on the next slide, you'll see that now you've got the platforms that you want to choose from, but how do we go about communicating? So I just wanted to put in there, you should know your facts. what you're talking about and what you're selling, you should know. And the best way to do a ground check and to make sure that you know that is to ask yourself if you know all the 5 W's and the H. So you're thinking, what's the 5 W's and the H? Well, the 5 W's and the H is who, what, when, where, why, and how. I think I got that right. And if you can answer all those questions with the W's and the H, you're on the right track for your messaging. And a top tip from us is that we've actually put a fact sheet together and we've done all the W's and the H onto a one-pager for Meet and Code, which is updated for 2021. And it's shared into the inspiration library and on the website under the communications section there. So please feel free to check out that folder and to check the one pager that we've created for you guys. Before I move on, I just want to highlight, so I like to call it the elevator pitch. And so the elevator pitch, for those who don't know, is when you're in the elevator, a friend you bump into or a colleague or an important key stakeholder, and they ask you a question about Meet and Code. Can you, in the space of 2 seconds during the elevator ride, get across the messaging or the paragraph into a succinct, short, summarized manner about Meet and Code? It's saying Meet and Code is, the program was first established when, the workshops reach more than how many countries? The program partners, we've got quite a few. Do you know who they are? The initiative provides up to how much for funding? And it provides workshops to children and youth who are aged during the months of. And if you can answer those questions, again, your messaging, you really are on the right track to great communications there. So for my next slide, I'm just going to take you on to some steps for PESO, because now you've looked at the PESO graph, there's various channels and platforms to be talking to, but where do we actually start with this? You're just inundating me with information, Adam. Well, don't worry. What we like to do for this is break it down. So when we look at PESO, basically my top tip for you guys is to decide on your biggest communications element first. Are you writing a story for the website? Are you doing a thought leadership piece? Are you doing an executive Q&A? Are you doing an announcement for your digital workshop? Choose the longest piece of content that you're writing first and get that one out the way, and just make sure that you know your W's. Once you've developed the longest piece, then move on to the second piece. And I suggest maybe looking at maybe a speech for the opening ceremony or a blog piece or an article. And then this is where we start repurposing and we start cutting down and segmenting. From there, from the thought leadership article or the big website piece to your speech, then we can segment into a weekly or a quarterly newsletter. That's a couple, maybe 100 words, 200 words at the most. And then you break that down into social media, which is short, and you can create maybe 5 posts from that piece of content and maybe a nice lengthy Instagram post. The options, there's a variety of things to work through, but as you can see, you're going from bigger, smaller, 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 and it's just segmenting and repurposing as you go. And from the long piece, you've created maybe 4 or 5 different pieces just from that already pre-populated post. So taking you on to the next slide is your sec on social media. But just before we jump off, I just want to say, once you've decided on all your content and your channels, just remember that the dates play a very important role here. So the best thing to do is to try and track calendars or days of significance like Youth Day, World Teachers Day. That's what we love in marketing communications. It's great for social media and it's great for media. They love that too. So if you can think of a day of significance that ties in with your digital workshop for anything across the various channels, that's great. Also, just bear in mind on public or bank holidays, you really don't want to be speaking to an audience that's not on screen or available, and you really want that engagement to be there. And just check that there's not some massive event that's going to overshadow yours when you're trying to get your messaging out at the same time. And so next, I'll hand it over to Yasek, who will talk about social media. Thanks, guys. Yasek, over to you.
Thanks, Adam. Hi, guys. As I told you, I work as a communications social media specialist. And today we're going to focus purely on the organic part of social media. Because right now, we all realize that, especially in the pandemic era, social media became the main communications tool for majority of population, and sometimes the only communication tool for the younger generation. So it is really essential to understand the social media, its influence, its power, and what we can do actually with it. And as I have just a few minutes to talk to you about it, treat this part of the workshop as a list of points that you should research or just pay attention to afterwards. I'll try to show you the path that simplifies your social media activity. Cool. I divided today's session into 3 segments. First, we're going to talk about the fundamental aspects of building your social media presence and what is super helpful while posting on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Then I'll describe you some tools that I personally cannot live without. And from my perspective, I know that they can save a lot of time. And finally, just a few simple tips and tricks, or maybe just a list of things to remember as we go deeper and deeper into our social media adventure. So let's just start with ground rules. As I like to say, you can make an apple pie without apples. And what I mean by that, we need to understand our social media platforms and choose wisely where we want to be the most active, because we cannot be everywhere. And for example, to me, Twitter is the best option when you want to react quickly to the worldwide news or to maybe some just business related topics. Instagram is the best tool when you want to show visually your brand. When you, for example, create some things that cannot be described and better to be just shown. And Facebook is the most common, still the most common social media app. It's a great tool to just create your own narrative, to just run your own story from the very bottom, from the scratch to the great things. And creating a social media profile or social media identity is like just decorating a room. You can go fully eclectic, but it's wise just to think about a coherent, consistent style of it. And to do so, style guide is a key. Style guide is a short set of rules for you to follow to keep the unified visual language. And to my mind, 3 basic aspects of style guiding is just color or colors, your font, and maybe not the easiest to understand at first, but the general vision for your style. Okay, so just go with colors. Colors, I don't mean just blue, white, red, yellow, but specific color codes, like specific shades. You can extract those codes from Paint, Photoshop, Canva, any graphic application. And the same with your font. Sticking to a very specific coding lets you keep your styling at best. And by the general style vision, I mean, you need to think about what is your identity. Serious, legible, and informative, for example, like CNN, or maybe super colorful, a little bit of punk, and fully systemized as Netflix, or maybe edgy, cartoonish, blue and yellow as meat and code. Like, you need to know what you want to achieve. And when you know that, you need to remember just to stick to it and to be consistent. And by doing so, you'll become a connectable brand. And just by seeing your posts and graphics, people will connect the message you deliver on social media to a specific brand, to a specific identity. And while style guiding is so important, on the next slide, you can see that logo is not everything. Now you can see 3 different visuals with different elements and shapes and basically different templates. But still, it keeps the consistency and it's connectable because we base on the same color palette and the same fonting and the same general vision for it. And that's what I like about social media and visual language of social media in 2021. Do not use just one template because you have already fixed shape, fixed everything to just put your text on it. Just play with it, like try new things, try new solutions, but remember about your style guiding, and then you can still keep the consistency of it. Okay, here you can see the old version of Meet and Code visual branding and the new one. And while entering an Instagram profile and seeing the new version, you already got the sense of a brand. Your style consistency can tell a lot about what you do, who is your target, and what is your mission. And especially when we talk about NGO and our activity, it is super vital to just show people why our mission is important. We do not spend millions of dollars on advertising. We just want to have a communication channel, communication tool to just tell people about our initiative. That's why I think that visual language is the best to just also position yourself as a trustworthy brand, as a brand that does amazing things. So just remember about it while structuring your own style. And moving to tools, one of the best tools that simply helps you create and keep the visual consistency on social media is Canva. Oh, sure, you can use Photoshop, you can use any other graphics design application, but Canva is an online platform. So first, it's super easy when you have a team and you want to work with the team on it. And I know that majority of us knows Canva, knows about it, but do we really look deeper into it? Like, as you have a free plan to use, just spend some time afternoon just surfing through all the options that Canva offers. For example, you don't need to check for formats that are the best for Facebook or Instagram because Canva does it for you. Also, thanks to Canva, you can create some simple animations with moving text, with moving objects, changing pictures. As we all know, social media, especially Facebook right now, loves video, loves animation. So maybe this is a way for you to just attract new people, attract new viewers, and just show we are a progressive brand. And last but not least, Canva is, to my mind, a great place to create a set of templates to use them later. Okay, you can do some graphics before each post you do, but just it's a great tip to just save time. It is super helpful while you have a team and not everybody is a graphic designer, and then pre-saved templates on Canva just can save your life. And on this slide, you can see the other tool that is my favorite, and I cannot live without it during my social media activity, and it's Hootsuite. And a free plan in Hootsuite allows a single user to connect up to 3 social media profiles. So that's a start. And scheduling in advance, creating a social media calendar, seeing your monthly activity in a bigger picture, it's like just some of the advantages that Hootsuite offers. Also, Hootsuite allows you to monitor all of your mentions, likes, comments, and everything that is going online about your brand or near your brand. And you can react to them in a single place. So that's an amazing thing when you don't have time, when you don't have moderators and dedicated people to just checking your activity and creating the conversation with people. And remember, conversation is an amazing indicator, an amazing statistic, and to analyze that we tend to omit. When we try to analyze our campaigns or just our activity, sometimes we just focus too much on numbers, focus too much on reach and impressions. And impression is just a single time when your post, your content pops up on somebody's Facebook or Instagram page. We need to also focus on conversation and just remembering that people that are following us, these are not numbers, these are people. They want to sometimes hear something from us, connect with us. Just sometimes, just a single comment can make a lot of difference. So I just want you to remember that, please just spend, I don't mean like 2 hours every day, but just a few minutes, 30 minutes every day to just see who's commenting your page, who's on your page, and who is your audience. That's a great way to also to understand your target audience and create your content in a better way. And to kind of end my part, just fishing out some best social media tips that are really worth remembering. And, there are a lot of things that we can do and simplify our activity, but I think that running a social media calendar is an amazing thing because you don't need to remember about posting another picture, posting another announcement like every day. You just can create one calendar, put all your posts, put all your information that you want to deliver in one particular month, let's say in July. And then you have a very clear vision how many communicates you want to do in a single month. You also see what kind of content you usually publish. So I think that seeing in a bigger picture, you can do it, you can do it in Hootsuite, you can do it in Google Sheet, you can even do it on Word doc or Google Doc. Like the file and format is not as important as just running and keeping that in just one place to just see the bigger picture. And the second thing is, as I said, saving templates. Guys, you have no idea, but as I told you, I don't think that using one template is the best way to create a social media activity in 2021. So I think that just go and create 3, 4, even 5 templates. Just use them like wherever you want, however you want. But keeping to the style guiding like helps you make those templates more connectable and more coherent. And when you have those pre-saved templates, it's so much easier when you have, for example, some news, some announcement just popped up 5 minutes ago, and you need to do that post. You need to inform people about it. You don't need to then worry yourselves about, oh my God, I don't have a visual. I don't have any graphics to attach to it. Then you just open Canva, open any other app, use any from your pre-saved templates. And in like 3, 4, 5 minutes, you have a ready post to go and go viral on social media. And last but not least thing from my social media tips list is something that I really like to think about, and what I did in Meet & Code last year is just show the human factor in all of that. When we just are chained to our laptops, like smartphones and everything, showing the human factor, showing people behind the scenes is super, super important. Because I know the strength of authenticity, but we need to remember that sometimes we don't want to talk to a brand. Sometimes we want to talk to the person behind the brand, and showing who's doing what, showing your team not in a very professional environment, but in just, like coffee time. It's also essential to just build your image as a social media brand. So showing more human related issues sometimes can bring you more people, because people want to cooperate with people, not machines. So that's a great way to just go with it. And I know that's a lot more to say in the social media topics, and maybe we can cover those areas in another workshops. But for now, that's it from my part, and we can smoothly move to the Q&A session. So if you have any questions to any of us, to Adam, Emma, or myself, just please do it on chat and we'll try to answer them.
Well, I think, Jacek, while they type up questions, I just wanted to ask, Canva is such an amazing tool that we use here at our agency too, and it makes life so simple and easy with beautiful templates. I know that we pay for a Canva account. For everyone out there, do they offer a free option for Canva for everyone to use? Is it free?
Yeah, Canva has a free plan, so it doesn't have all the options, but it does have the essentials. So I think that for like rather small activities, smaller organizations, Canva, not premium, but the basic plan is also enough. And maybe when you get just a bit more friendly with Canva, you can think about investing in the premium plan.
Awesome, thanks, Jacek.
Cool, we've got one question so far, just if the presentation slides will be available. So Jacek, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so the whole meeting is recorded and will be on our YouTube channel and our social media platforms in a few days, I guess. So you can go back to all the things that we said during the webinar afterwards.
Fantastic. Jacek, another one for you. You're popular today. How many social posts should one post per week to gain traction?
Oh, guys, that's not easy. That's not an easy question to answer, as it depends on what we offer and how we communicate to people. And okay, I can go with some general rules that I follow and that I think are the best. But before that, you need to remember that knowing your audience is the best to get the answer for that question, because you need to know if you're more like quick answer, quick response, and just have a contact with those people that you need to maybe not spam, but be super active. Or maybe you have users that just want really quality posts, and let's say 2 posts per week is enough. But my opinion on that and my shot is that I like to go with 5 posts per week, and I do not like posting on weekends because I think that people also just want to sometimes get some rest from all the information avalanche that we give them. And I think that the minimum is like 2 and 3 just to get the traction, because it's not only about the people that already are following you, but when you want to get the reach, get the audience, and more people. You need to remember that when some anonymous person just enters your Instagram or Facebook profile and sees, for example, 15 posts in total after like 3 months or 4 months of activity, like it doesn't get the signal, that the message that you you are a super informative, inspirational, like a source of wisdom, source of information. So just please remember that you need to build some content before going out to people. So that's why maybe publishing a bit more at first is a good advice, just to create, the platform.
Thank you so much. Okay, I will take the next one. Sorry, they're just going. Okay, so how do I find media contacts in my area? So the best thing to do is do some research online. Keep an eye on the media, like if you get a community paper, if you read the paper, look at what journalists are talking to the topic that you want to talk to. Make a list of them, and if their contact details aren't published anywhere, then just phone the media house, chat to the switchboard, and just get their details to add to your list. Okay, then we've got one for Adam. I am not the best writer, but I want to develop a meet and code story. Any advice or guidance for how I do that?
Well, that's a great question, and I will definitely take that one. Short and sweet and to the point. Basically, we all hate writing. I know what it's like. In communications, we obviously have to be great writers, but have no fear. We've created a whole folder of templates for you guys to use, and part of those templates include the fact sheet, but then also a press release where you can drop in all your locations, your stats, your facts, your achievements and successes to help you promote your digital workshop. So it will be in the tools and the templates that we've saved to the website and in the inspiration library.
Great. Then just so everyone knows, you get Canva for nonprofits, which is free. So that's a really great option to use. You've got some comments about that here. Yeah, I think that might be. Anyone have any more questions?
Emma, you've been a great question reader. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I agree, Emma. A great moderator.
So I suppose then this is the part where we wrap up. We've had some Q&As, we've recorded this session, we've got templates available for you guys to use. You can also reach our contact details, which are under the website. I think in relation to what Jacek was saying, brand consistency is key. Keeping the flow of messaging and consistent is also very important. And the human factor above all for that storytelling process is really important too. And that's about success stories and stories that come from the heart. So thanks, Jacek, for touching on that. I couldn't agree more. I suppose from us to you guys, thank you for being here today. And please feel free to use those templates and to reach out for support. We're here to help you. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Jacek. Bye, everyone.
Bye.